Welcome back. This week's episode is all about the starter motor, and we finally get to go for a little bit of a motor sail as well. Had to strip down the starter motor, did it a couple of times. This is the first time I'd ever done it. Wasn't quite sure what I was doing. Had a look on YouTube, followed the instructions on YouTube, and it's amazing what you can learn on that. In all of this, nothing bloody worked in the end, so I've ended up having to take it over to the auto electrician. He's going to have a look at it today for me, and then hopefully we'll get it back in the boat. It was buggered on it, so we've got a new one attached there. He reckons the rest of it's all in pretty good nick, which is pretty good. Turns out she's a Bosch starter motor, and it originally had a Bosch solenoid. It's now just got a generic one, and still the Bosch starter. Okay, well, we're going to stick it back in the boat and see what happens. Okay, right about now I could do with a GoPro, I suspect. So what I'm going to do today is just clean up around here. Okay, around this mount for the starter motor. Pop that back in, wire him back up, and give it a go. See how we go. Oops, sorry about the finger over the lens then. Okay, so last week we also replaced our fan belt here. It was just a bit too worn. Okay, see, we've got a little bit of paint peel around here. I think that's happened when the engine got a little bit too hot one time when we were out. I don't think it's too much to worry about. I'll just sort of, do a little bit of maintenance on that. But other than that, I think these engines are pretty bulletproof. Okay, so I have managed to put the starter motor back in. We've got the new solenoid on here, and what I've found is I had to run a new switch wire from the back of the solenoid back through to the ignition switch, because the old one, no matter how far back I cut it, still just had corrosion up into it. So now I've got to pull this apart again. Now, this is probably the most ridiculous designed junction box I've ever seen. You've got to pull both halves out to get one half out. Okay, I'll see you in about half an hour. Right, yeah, so you can see what I mean about this being a ridiculous idea and a ridiculous location for this junction box. Just everything comes back to it, which in itself is not a bad idea. But it's in a corner, so this piece of timber here, where my finger is, sits in behind the next board, okay? So that you can't get this board out here without taking that one out first. It's just, anyway, old boats. So all I've done now is I've run my switching wire back through here now to connect that back up to the ignition switch, which is in here somewhere, and we'll give it a turn in sequence for the SAB. Diesel on, so we've got our water on. Bugger. Yeah, it was a bit of a bugger. Anyway, not to worry, we decided to go out for a bit of a sail anyway, so I hand cranked the engine and headed up around Cockatoo Island. So we did a bit of motor sailing, tacking up and around the river, and got up to top of Cockatoo Island up there near the ferry wharf, turned to 180, and then just started to head back down the river, or back up the river actually. Dead downwind it was. It was, not a bad day sailing. We're cruising along at a nice 2 knots, very, very comfortable public holiday Monday afternoon. We're going dead downwind. Just got to keep an eye out. There's a guy who may tack in front of us shortly. We'll see what his intentions are. Well, don't worry folks, even though we went out for a little bit of a nice sail, left the motor running, honestly thought the batteries were charging up. As we came back in, I went to start her up again after the downwind leg, and the starter motor wouldn't crank. So there I was drifting, because at that stage I'd foiled the headsail. And I was just drifting. I wasn't in any danger or anything, but I had to hand crank it. So I hand cranked it, got it starting, got it running, and then realised I hadn't turned the water on. So I went back, stopped it, then couldn't find where I chucked the hand crank in the rush to get back up on deck. Found the hand crank, cranked it over again, and found that we seemed to have a throttle issue. Not quite sure what's happening there. It's another adventure to look at. I may well yet be replacing the high tension leads from the battery to the starter motor, because honestly there can't be anything left to replace. Alrighty, I'll chat to you guys later. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever. Just you know, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you like. And even just make a comment of what you want to see or what you want to, you know, hear about in upcoming videos. Alrighty, till next time. See ya.